Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another segment with Mike and Mike.
Hi. Hi, Mike.
Team M&M. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good.
And we're going to talk about corporations, responsibility, and their effect, and what the reality of it really is.
Okay.
Because in our previous discussions, we've had kind of a lively back and forth about corporations, and a lot of us have negative ideas about corporations. I mean, I understand, on the one hand, my buddy Mike here told me that, yeah, corporations provide good things too, but I think also they get a little out of hand sometimes too. But let's go ahead and talk about that.
That is certainly the understatement of the century.
Thank you.
Do corporations get a little out of hand sometime? I would say yes, they absolutely do. But let's leave that for just a little bit later in the conversation and go back to something Mike said initially. Sure, the word corporations get a bad rap. You know, down with the corporate state, you know, corporations are bad, you know, buy local. Yes, okay, that's absolutely right. At the same time, let's not forget that one of the reasons that corporations are profitable is they provide goods and services which we all consume. And that's exactly right. And don't forget what the marketplace does. If you have a product that people want, you will do well. If you have a product that people do not want, you will not do well. So the corporations that have survived and who are wielding a very dangerous power over the entire globe provide services, goods and services that we all enjoy, I mean on a daily basis, possibly on a minute-to-minute basis.
All right, let me ask you the following here. Nestle,
Sure.
Nestle is a huge corporation, and Nestle is headquartered in Switzerland. They also have a lot to do with palm oil in Indonesia.
For instance?
And so if you are looking for some type of chocolate...
almost any product you see in a supermarket is going to contain palm oil.
Right. And so it just kind of bothers me that you have this sort of contradiction about... And we talked about corporate social responsibility. What does it really mean? Because when you hear social responsibility, you think of somebody doing something good and taking care of the environment.
Being responsible.
Being responsible, exactly. But are they being responsible only to the shareholders and to heck with the consumers and the forests in Indonesia?
May I jump in?
In just a moment.
Okay, good.
I'm still on my high horse here,
Oh,
okay?
good.
And I want to kind of find out about where the balance is between social responsibility and generating profit for your shareholders. And I think that's kind of a fine line that corporations have to walk.
I know exactly what you mean. Fine line, not so much. Corporate profits are through the roof, so they're making plenty of money. But let's talk about social responsibility for a minute. I think you mentioned it. Listen.
I did.
It's our responsibility, I was talking about markets, to know what it is we're purchasing and how it is that those items came to be on the supermarket shelf. And what does that mean? Palm oil is a great example. If we don't want all what's left of the Asian rainforests to be chopped down and have palm plantations planted there, thereby just completely ruining the ecosystem, and the ramifications are huge, then we need to be educated as consumers and let the market know through our dollars, through our purchases or not, that we do not want this product, we do not like these sort of corporate actions. So the responsibility lies with us as well, you know.
May I jump in?
Please.
Okay. And a part of it also is, it goes back to one of our previous segments where we talked about the government is still in control of the corporation. So if we use Indonesia as an example, I love Indonesia, but if we use Indonesia as an example and the fact that they are just destroying all of the rainforests there just to create palm oil plantations, okay, who's affected by that? Of course, animals, right? That thrive in the rainforest, but that government sees profit also through licensing, taxation, and so on and so forth. And the companies that generate these or have these palm forests, plantations, are making huge profits also.
Absolutely.
Because the cost of labor is minimal. And when I think about social responsibility, are these people working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? I doubt it. I really doubt it. And if it goes back to like the Nike scandal a number of years ago with child labor in China and Vietnam, and Nike throwing up their hands going, oh, I didn't know anything about it, right? Instead of accepting responsibility, and they blame the country and the culture on having child labor, where's the social responsibility there? Thank you.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but you mean where's the corporate social responsibility there? Because the social responsibility lies with who? Us, the consumer. We need to be educated. And I want to say about the palm oil plantations, it's a lot more than they just chop down a bunch of rainforests and those poor animals. Forests, especially the largest forests on the planet, are huge carbon sinks. And that's where a lot of the carbon emissions that we produce go. They get taken in by the trees, they go into the roots, they go into the soil, and when you chop that down and burn those trees, that's being released now. Additionally, don't forget, when they chop those forests down, every year they're doing it, there's like a football field size, like every 3 seconds being decimated and burned. And you see the smog problem that totally engulfs nearly all of Southeast Asia, from Singapore,
Exactly.
up the Thai Peninsula, all over the place, So we need to take some social responsibility as well, and we need to maybe think to ourselves, hey, actually I'm in control of this corporation with my money. And if we're not willing to exercise our own personal social responsibility, I think it's a stretch to think that corporations who are designed just to rapaciously make money to control themselves. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense, and I totally agree with you. The problem I see is that we have no power. I mean, yeah, we might say, okay, it starts with one person, it goes to 2 and 3 and 4, like that. But when you're dealing with, on an individual basis with a corporate entity, you have no chance. You really don't. I mean, if you're taking them to task for destroying the environment and ruining people's lives and causing air pollution, because of the trade winds that blow everything over towards Malaysia and Singapore and so on. I mean, those governments can complain to Indonesia, but Indonesia doesn't do anything about it, right?
I see what you're saying. Nevertheless, we do have power, and it's up to us to understand and figure out how to exercise that power. And I think maybe that is a good spot to leave it right there. What do you think?
Okay, I'm up for that, yeah. Well, we had another lively discussion about corporate social responsibility. I would say myth and reality in that sense, because to me, when I equate social responsibility with corporations, I mean, they use those 3 words together, then I think it's kind of a myth. And even if it's on the mission statement, you look at the website and you think, oh, okay, these guys are doing really, really well. But when you look at the real picture, what's really happening, are they delivering on what they say they're going to be delivering on or not? So my question is this. In terms of corporate social responsibility, and we have kind of different meanings for what that means. I mean, Mike was talking about it as differentiation strategy and so on and so forth, and dealing primarily with profit. But I'm sorry, but my feeling is when I hear social responsibility, I want to see something good being done for the consumer, for the environment, for the planet, and I don't see that. And I would like to know, what do you think about the real meaning of corporate social responsibility?
Very interesting question. One final question. Corporate social responsibility is an idea that businesses use to attract consumers and differentiate their products from their competitors. Okay, so if that is true, what products do you purchase because you feel a kinship or some kind of agreement with the corporation who produced that product?
All right, that's a good question. And we're going to wrap this one up right now. Again, another discussion. Hope you learned something about it. I hope we didn't speak too fast for you. And feel free to play the tape back again so you can listen to us and you can pick up the vocabulary. And remember, try to do something good for the planet and for yourself.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.